Hello and welcome to Emily Adventures. My name is Emily and I am your source for all things noise. From musical noise to important noise to random squawks. Squawk! Today I'll be making important noises by talking about why stories, especially our Asian American stories, matter. So I grew up in an affluent, highly educated, and pretty Asian suburb of Boston. And what irks me most is that I grew up believing in colorblindness. I didn't see myself as a person of color because I didn't realize that the model minority stereotype that I kind of subscribed to but also tried my best with what I had to fight was a product of internalized and systemic racism. I considered myself white but not white because I conflated my economic privilege with racial privilege. And so what I didn't see was that the model minority myth that made me believe I was whitish actually made Asian Americans like me invisible. I've always loved writing, so when we were told to write stories in class, I was excited. But every time I had to write a story, I felt so awkward because I thought my characters had to be white. And so it felt like a guessing game I was destined to fail at. Is this person having brown hair, wearing jeans, and eating peas from a plate with a fork and knife acceptable to my white reader? Or is that wrong, but I don't know because I'm not white? So I certainly couldn't make my characters Asian, because wouldn't writing Asian characters because I'm Asian be racist? So I thought I was just bad at writing stories, and I haven't really written any stories since middle school. In high school, I got pretty good at identifying allusions to Christianity in literature, and here's how I did it. If something seemed profound and I didn't understand it, I would assume it was a religious allusion. Then I would Google search whatever it was, be it water or kneeling or dying, and then add religion to get my Wikipedia context, and then I'd use the information in my essay. So I got really good at analyzing literature written by dead white people, and I was actually pretty content doing so. Then, my senior year in high school, my English teacher, whom I was TAing for, assigned Joy Luck Club to her freshman class. And I was pretty surprised because in this class discussion, the students were talking about Asian Americanness as if it were important or even profound. And it was also odd to me that the students who were mostly white didn't quite seem to understand the whole Asian American thing. So I was intrigued, and I asked my teacher if there were any more books written by Asian Americans. And then so she lent me the graphic novel American Born Chinese by Jean Luen Yang. I loved it after I read it. Well, and while I read it. And then I wondered, have I read anything in school about being Asian American? Because we learned so much about slavery and the Holocaust, and those are really important. But if that stuff is important, and we learned about it, but we didn't learn about Asian American stuff must not be important. As far as I can remember, even now, we didn't read anything that explicitly addressed issues around being Asian American. The one book I do remember reading that was by an Asian American is A Single Shard by Linda Sue Park. I read that in 6th grade, and the issue there is that the story is set in 12th century Korea, so in terms of content, it's not really about the ins and outs of being Asian American. It was about some like the Celadon vase stuff in Korea and how that's important. Yay, vases. Anyways, so I'm like, okay, Boston, I'm done with you and your Asianness and your tiger parents in Harvard and road rage, so I get the hell out, go to Indiana for college, middle of nowhere. And it's funny that there is where I found my Asian Americanness, because I discovered that if I didn't own the Asian American part of me, there might not be anyone around me who's going to speak up for me, because there were way more international students than Asian Americans there. I had my friend and my other friend. But yeah, international students, they have the choice to go back to their home country. They have the choice to identify as solely Chinese, solely Indian, solely Korean, Taiwanese, whatever. And yes, studying in foreign countries is a huge undertaking, and I respect that so much. But also, international students don't, and at this point can't understand being asked, where are you from? And before your brain actually registers what's happening, the words have already come out of your mouth. My parents are from Taiwan, I was born and grew up in Boston, and if China is this big air circle, then Taiwan is this little air circle, and that's not Thailand, Thailand's over here, and please don't say Thai food is yummy. Thai food is yummy, but that is not the food of my country. And it's so frustrating because I know what they're really asking is, why is your hair black? Why is your skin yellow? And the answer they want is Chinese, Korean, or Japanese. And it's not that simple. It's not that simple. And sometimes I just feel so bad because sometimes I say I'm Chinese because I just don't feel like explaining, and I can tell by the way you ask the question that you're not gonna get it. Anyways, the thing about going to a college where the AAPI student organization went defunct before I ever attended an event because I was in music school was that if you don't care about being Asian American, no one really does. Nobody there really realizes that you deal with things that they don't know exists, and that kind of really sucks. So while I was in college, the TV show Fresh Off the Boat came out, and it actually took me a while before I even bothered to watch it, because the name is Fresh Off the Boat, which almost always, when used, is an insult. So frankly, I was ready to be insulted by whatever I saw. But I watched it, and by the end of the first episode, it was crazy. I had the complete different feeling, and the feeling was something I'd never felt before. It's that feeling of seeing someone who looks, thinks, and acts just like me on a screen in HD or whatever. And that had never happened before. So, you know, I'm going and I'm marathoning the rest of the season because, like, oh my god, and just this huge, tearful jumble of feels, and I'm thinking, is this what it's like to be acknowledged as, like, a human? To be significant and, like, whole and have valuable emotions and complex thoughts and identity parts, and like I guess what it came down to was, is this what it's like to be white, and to turn on the TV whenever you feel like it and be able to watch the story of someone that you can actually relate to, because I'm more Asian than the average American, but I'm way less Asian than any Asian who grew up in Asia. I don't really belong in the American mainstream culture because I'm not white. And on the other hand, honestly, I have no idea what's happening or has ever really happened in Asian cultures. So, you know, I don't belong there either. And it's just crazy because for the first 2 decades of my life, I didn't know a third place existed. And this third place is a small but very important little place, and this is a place where I do belong. But the issue is that mainstream media and my teachers and my community just didn't really care enough to let me know. And so this place is called Asian America, and it's a marvelous place where our Asian American stories are valued in all of their commonalities and their differences, all of our struggles and our successes. And it's somewhere that doesn't demand that we get straight A's. Instead, it's a place where we commiserate in that. And the fact that the broader world expects us to be this one cut and dry thing, like we're all little robots with like black hair and glasses and, you know, yellow skin and blah blah blah. Like, it's Asian America is awesome because it's a place where Asian Americans can be, and what we feel and think and say and do actually matter. And it's a place where it's not just lawyers, doctors, and engineers like we hear our parents tell us to be, and like we hear society tell us to be. You know, I'm reading more and talking more to people about this, and I learned that there are Asian American artists and researchers and politicians and writers and therapists and teachers and performers and like everything else awesome in the world. And there are Asian Americans doing that. It's awesome. And for me, and I hope for you Asian Americans watching this, Asian America is a place of belonging that I hope current and future Asian Americans can find a little more quickly than I did. Because this place is a place that I'm so happy exists, and I'm so proud to be a part of, since discovering that it exists. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I will see you soon.